What's up, fam? It's CJ, aka Uncle Paw Paw here. Today, we got a good one. We got a 4-parts series of Italian night. And we're gonna start off with meatballs, homemade pasta sauce, salad that I make all the time for my family, and we're gonna finish it up with some homemade noodles. It's all next here on Uncle Paw Paw's Kitchen. Welcome back, fam. All right, first video of our 4 videos, like I said, meatballs. And what we like to do is start off with brisket fat, with some lean chuck that I just diced up with the fat, ran it through the coarse grinder twice. The pork is actual pork rib trimmings. The end piece that's real thin, it's just gonna burn up in your grill. Kind of slice that off, take the bone out, save the bone for some stock, and then freeze that and grind it up. You'll see here, this is actual some beef, and this is actual some pork, some more that we got frozen, and you know we can use that. I'll make a video using this or some more making some sauces. I'll do a video of sauce. I'll go up to the country meat market over there off of Division or Lancaster in Fort Worth and get some casings. We'll make some sausage. All right, so I grind this up again. Like I said, I grind it up. Then I put it in my KitchenAid with the paddle and let it go around for about a minute to a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and it gets this consistency where it's stuck together. And that's kind of what you want when you want to do meatballs or even sausage, because you don't really want it to fall apart. If we was doing meatloaf, we would just run it through the coarse grinder twice and leave it as is, because you want, when you cut into it or bite into it, you want it to break apart. You want it to be real tender. So we do that. The next ingredient that we have here is we have a bunch of Italian parsley that we'll chop up, put in there. Then we have 3/4 cup of Parmesan Reggiano. I just like saying that. 2 tablespoons of granulated garlic, 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, and 2 teaspoons of black pepper, 2 eggs, and a cup of milk. And then the last ingredient that we put in here is breadcrumbs. So 2 things with our breadcrumbs here is, 1, I don't buy breadcrumbs. Our kids are accidentally frugal. And what I mean by that is we'll buy bread and they'll, 2 loaves, they'll use this loaf, get halfway. The next thing I know, they grab a second loaf, and instead of putting it back in here or even grabbing the first loaf, they'll put it sideways, and the next thing you know, you got bread getting pushed all the way to the back of the rack. So today, no lie, just pulled the rack out, went to the back, and there was some bread. A couple pieces here and there, still in the bag, just pushed in the bag. The second thing about our breadcrumbs that we use is I actually put it in water and let it soak up, because bread naturally, is an absorber. So if you put some water in a plate, put a bread on it, it's going to absorb that water. So I like to put bread in there, mix it up in water, so when we mix it with our meatballs, it's not absorbing the liquid out of the meatball. It's actually keeping it moist, and it makes for a very juicy meatball. All right, so we're going to put all this together. We'll start with our wet, then our dry. We'll go ahead and knock it all out. All right. All right. Get the glove up. All right. So what we'll start off with is with our wet, and it's going to be our 1 cup of milk, our 2 eggs, and they're just 2 large eggs. All right, now we're going to drain our breadcrumbs. whisk. Put my eggs and milk. Now we're going to cook this at 350 for about 35 minutes. Already got the oven sitting at 350. Let's go ahead and put in our Parmesan Reggiano. All right, 2 tablespoons of granulated garlic, 2 tablespoons of salt, and 2 teaspoons of black pepper. Now these meatballs, you'll see that, I know I've been making them for a while now, and very good, and you can actually turn these into sliders. Get a fork to stir this up. You actually, like I said, you can actually make sliders out of these. What I would do is double the pepper, make it 4 teaspoons of pepper. Let's go ahead and add in our meat, so our wet. I'm gonna add in our wet breadcrumbs. And we're just gonna get in there with the one hand, kind of get that mixed up. And it's gonna look very wet to you because of the milk and the breadcrumbs. But when we put in all our dry ingredients, it's gonna absorb all that. All right, but the breadcrumbs not only does it add moisture, but it also acts as a binder with the egg. So, all right, add in our dry. It's just soaking it all up. Very, very nice and moist meatball. All right. Get our Italian parsley. Scrap bowl. So I'm just going to rough chop it. Not doing anything special. Now the parsley, Italian parsley, it adds a fresh, earthy taste to it. Alright, so continue to mix that. And the more you mix it, the tighter it gets. Not only is it absorbing all the liquid, all the dry ingredients, absorbing the liquid, but also just the meat itself is getting a little tighter. Due to the eggs, but also just because you're mixing it, it'll just naturally get tighter. So, I have a little scooper that I like to use. That's enough for now. All right, so what I kind of do is that meatball there. I already greased this as well. There you go. They're all done. I know they seem a little huge, but they're going to firm up as they cook. And then once we're done, we'll put them in the sauce and let them simmer minimum for about 2 hours, minimum 2 hours, excuse me. So go ahead and get this on the oven, clean up, and 35 minutes later, we'll see what they look like. All right. All right, fam, it's been about 35 minutes. So we're gonna go ahead and get the meatballs out the oven. Take a look at them. Oh yeah. All right. It's nice. Use the size. We're gonna go ahead and use this small one as a taste test. But as you can see, meatballs are nicely toasted. See the cheese. Let's go ahead and get inside of it and see. Nice. See the parsley, everything else merged in the little cheese. See little pockets of cheese, breadcrumbs. Look at my cut board. Still moist. Go ahead and cut it again. And so you don't get confused of the inside. I'm just gonna rub the cutting board. I want you to see the wet, if you can see it. Nicely seasoned. Again, man, this is very good. You can eat this just like this. Just put it on a plate. Got that good crusty exterior. On the inside, moist and tender. All right, let me stop eating. Put them in a pot, let it simmer for a minimum of 2 hours. Put it on sauce, let it get in the sauce, let it absorb all that flavor. Let the juice of the meat get into the sauce, and it'll thin that out. That you'll see in part 2. And at the end, you'll see it all come together. I'm Uncle Paw Paw. Appreciate you watching Uncle Paw Paw's Kitchen. All right, now.